The first features we're going to build onto the clay face are going to be the eyes, followed by the nose and mouth, and so on, a bit like when we did a portrait drawing. Okay, so I've got an example here of the eye socket that you need to do before you actually put the eyeballs and the eyelids and the eyebrows on. When you do this, you may already want to start thinking about what expression you want to have on your face. And the kind of expressions you can do could be happy, sad, angry, shocked, and where you put your eye sockets, okay, or the angle you put your eye sockets on, okay, can help show that straight away even before you put the eyes and eyelids on. Okay, now on this one, this could be fine for, say, doing happy or shocked, and they're just pretty much, you know, my thumbs are side on when I pressed in. Okay, we could do kind of sad eyes by tilting your thumbs downwards, or you could do kind of angry eyes by tilting your thumbs upwards. Now when we do press our thumbs into here, there's a few little things to consider. The eyes are about halfway down the head, so do not be tempted to put them high up. Okay, make sure they're halfway down the clay mask. It might feel a bit odd to do that right now, but that's where they need to be. Also, the gap between your nose, it should be at least as thick as your thumb. Okay, otherwise your eyes will look maybe too close together. Now I'm going to place my thumbs on there, and for this one, okay, I might angle them up slightly to maybe try and do some angry eyes eventually. And I'm going to hold onto the side of the clay because it will push out otherwise. And so they're angled upwards, okay, and I'm going to press in nice and deep, okay, to make two eye sockets. And hopefully you'll be able to see the difference now between this one, which I just kind of used sideways thumbs, and this one here where my thumbs were tilted up. Okay, and that will lend itself to doing a sort of more angry expression. Now the next thing to do is to build the actual eyeballs in place. Okay, and you're going to need a piece of clay around the size of a Malteser, and you need to just roll that out, okay, in the palm of your hand, and make a sort of a ball shape. Okay, like so. And once you've got that, we're just going to cut that in half with a knife or a plastic modelling tool. Okay, so if I put that by there, literally just cut that right down the centre. Okay, and hey presto, we've got two eyeballs that we can use. Okay, now in order to put these eyeballs into place, if we just put them in like that, when the clay dries, guess what, they're just going to kind of fall out. Okay, so we need to kind of attach these, we need to glue them in. Now to glue them in, of course, we need slip, and the best way to use slip is to roughen the surface, okay, of the back of the eyeball. Maybe roughen the surface inside the eye, making sure that we're not cutting into it. We don't want to cut deeply, we're just roughening the surface, make little teeth marks. Okay, and then using some slip on the back eyeball there, in the eye socket. And slip, of course, is just watered down clay, and it acts like a glue for us. And then we're just going to carefully, gently press that into place. Obviously don't press hard because you're going to squish your eyeball. Okay, and we'll repeat the same on the other side, of course. Now once your eyeball is done, we're onto the eyelids, and the eyelids need to be made with small pieces of clay that are kind of rolled out into little kind of sausages or little kind of slugs. You need them to be about, I don't know, the size of your little finger. Okay, is a good guide. So about as thick as your little finger, and about the length of your little finger. So roll them out. Now it's a good practice to have them thinner on the ends, a bit like bananas or a crescent moon shape. Okay, if you can see that, okay, you can kind of get what I'm trying to do here. And these are going to form kind of eyelids that we put on. We're going to do a top one, a bottom one, and eventually we're going to do eyebrows as well. Now once you've made about 4 of these, because you will need 2 for each eye, okay, so just rolling out a few of these. My advice is to flatten them slightly. Watch they don't stick to the table, but I prefer to flatten them before I use them. Let's get another one. Just flatten that one out. Okay, so they look like squished bananas now. Yeah, and then bringing this back here. Okay, and we can use these now as eyelids. Now they must sit on the eyeball. So if I bring this up a little bit, you can see that it sits on the eyeball. They mustn't sit back there. Okay. Now you may want to use a mirror to have a look at your own eyes in the mirror to be able to see how the eyelids do sit on the eyes. Now of course on mine I'm doing an angry expression, so I'm tilting the eyelids. Okay, rather than just do them straight like this. Okay, I'm actually tilting them slightly. So it's sitting on the eyeball. I can break them off to the size I need. Make sure they're not too long. And then I can put another one underneath. It also touches and sits on the eyeball, and that's angled upwards, look. And I can break that one off as well. And now you can either use a modelling tool or your own finger to then blend the eyelid into place. The best way to do this is just to press down slightly and then drag the clay. Press down and drag. Okay, it takes a bit of practice. Press down and drag. And all the time making sure, okay, that you do not blend the eyelid into the eyeball, because you'll lose your eyelid and it won't look so good. Okay, so very, very careful, very gentle. Once you've done the bottom one, of course, you do exactly the same at the top. Use a finger or a thumb, or sometimes even a plastic tool, and you can press that in into the eye socket a little bit and model it in like so. Okay, get rid of that bit. Now this of course is for an angry eye, so you can see now how tilted up it is. Okay, and you need to make sure, I should have a plastic tool to do this. Well prepared. I'm just going to have to use my thumb, I think. Okay, and now you can see I've got my eyelid, top and bottom, and I've also got the room that's left there for my eyebrow, which I'm going to put in as well. So you do that on both sides and try and get them to match. Now, as you can see now, the eyelid is very prominent. It's not blended into the eyeball, and it's got the angle for the expression that I'm trying to show. Once you've done both of them, the next stage is just to do the eyebrow. And the eyebrows can be done in exactly the same way, and this time you need to just roll out another banana, maybe a bit bigger, maybe as big as your thumb this time. Okay, so quite large, put that by there, quite a large piece of clay for the eyebrows. And again, you know, about as long as your thumb and about as thick as your thumb is probably going to be a good idea. And making sure, like before, goes thinner on the edges, so just like doing like a giant eyelid. And once you've got two of them rolled out, because it's best to roll them both out at the same time, you can then place them on for the eyebrows. Now for angry, you might want an angled eyebrow like this. You may want quite a low eyebrow, a low straight eyebrow. It's going to work nicely for angry. Okay, so if I place that there, cut off the bits I don't need, and I can use a thumb or a finger to now blend this into the forehead. Okay, so I'll show you again. I'm going to use my thumb. You may want to even turn it upside down if you want to. Okay, now you can see with my finger, I'm going to press down, I'm going to pull, press down, pull, press down, pull. So half of this clay, all of a sudden, is just going to be moulded, blended away. So it did feel like we were starting off with quite a big, large piece of clay for the eyebrow. Okay, but half of that now has kind of disappeared. And you must keep blending the clay together on all of the features that you make on this clay face until you can no longer see any join mark. If you can see a join mark, it's not finished. You need to carry on. Okay, until all the join marks disappear, and that eyebrow now becomes part of the face, as a part of the skin. So that's looking pretty good there. Of course, you're going to build both at the same time.